stop as often as I can and look at some of them. But if I don't get them, you know, I will go back and answer all your comments when we start. Okay? If you have a music box ordered, or if you are looking to order them, this is what you will get when you order a kit. This is exactly how your kit will arrive. It will come in a box, come in a package. This is your pattern, your tracing surreal, and everything will come in that package. This is your music box, okay? This one comes, you see his nose goes right here, and it glues into the back. You will get this, nose that popped off. You will get a music box, and you will get a nose that already has the shaft in it. See this twist into here. When you get it all fixed into your music, get him all painted and finished, then you will glue this in, and he plays Frosty the Snowman. So you will receive all of this, and what you will do after you've painted, tonight I'm going to paint one and show you how to do it. So what you will do after you have painted, you will line this little thing, this little screw in here, you will line it up in your box with the hole, the nose hole that's in your box. So you will line it up in there, glue it in, and I used Gorilla Glue. You can buy Gorilla Glue, which is what we usually use to glue glass to glass. So, and you can find that at Lowe's or Home Depot, maybe even on Amazon. I've not tried. But it's called Gorilla Glue, and that will glue that into that box. And then after it dries good, you'll just put your nose right in here, twist it in, and it'll go right down into that music box. We'll make sure that they all fit before they're shipped to you, that everything fits for you. Okay? Now, you are going to get, I have printed you off a pattern. I have made a pattern for each kit. It'll come to you like this. This is the Snowman complete, all that you need to paint with. This is a piece of tracing tracing paper that you will get in your kit. And what you will do is lay this is on regular printer paper. You will lay this paper over top of this and trace you a pattern with a pencil. You will trace that onto your tracing paper. I just cut off pieces of a big roll that I have. And then it will be like this. This is the one that's on the tracing paper. Because this you can see through. Anytime you're making a pattern, this kind of paper you want. This is just called tracing paper. And you will put it on your box with a piece of tracing surreal. This is like old-fashioned carbon paper, but it's made for artwork. And you will get a new piece of surreal in your packet. Now, a new piece is strong. It's the print on the back of it is strong, but it's erasable. So what you will do with your pattern, this one is what I'm going to work on tonight. You lay this on your board, position your pieces in to make it fit. Now you may, because sometimes when we sand them, by the time we get all the sanding and stuff done on them, they come out a little bit different. So start over on the right side where your shovel is all at, and lay that in there. Get it in position so you got it in the right place. Pick it up. Your surreal goes with the dark side down. This piece of surreal I've probably used a year, so don't throw your surreal away. It'll last you a long, long, long time. Then you lay that down, and you need a stylus or an ink pen that's wore out, anything that you can use. Ballpoint pens that no longer work makes a good stylus if you don't have one. Okay? Then you are going to trace all that on there. Put everything that you need on that pattern. You know, trace all that on and trace your pattern. And then if you need to move it around, move it over to put the other side on. Get it all in position, because all the little curves in the Snowman, he fits in a pattern. See, he fits in this, in these. He fits around all that. So you want to make sure your pattern you're putting on just fits that. This is erasable with a plain old pencil eraser, all this is. Okay, now the kits. I ended up having to pay more for music boxes than what I thought. When I use erasers, I don't use the eraser that's on the end of a pencil because they're not worth a hoot. I buy a bag of these little old cheapy things from the Dollar Tree. My kids used them at school, and that's the best little eraser for erasing off of wood or something. Now, I forgot to tell you, you want to paint your snowman white. I used plain old white, which is Delta, or I use house paint. I've got some house paint, plain white house paint in a bowl, and I put in that. You'll put 2 coats on, according to how you put it on, but you'll need 2 or 3 coats of white on that snowman. Anytime that you put on wood, anytime you paint on wood, it will raise the nap of your wood. And when you get it painted, you can feel it. Feels like fur. Feels like he's got fur on him. So you go back in with a piece of sandpaper and just sand that whole thing all the way around till you make it nice and smooth. Sand the top again. Make that smooth. And make sure that everything... Now see down here in this corner, he's got a shovel, and it's going to be gray. So it wasn't real important that I bring that second coat of gray all the way over, of white all the way over to that side, because it's going to get gray anyway. But anything you know is going to stay white, be sure you put a good coat of white on there. And some people paint heavier than others, and you may need 2 coats, you may need 3 coats, but you'll need at least 2 on there. Then you're going to put your pattern on. Now, the whole kit coming to you is $34.95. And like I said, I had to pay more for the music boxes than what I anticipated when I started. So I had to sell them for $34.95 plus shipping. Coming in the box, he weighs 3 pounds to ship. So if you're getting 2 of them, that's 6 pounds for shipping. And I'll get you the best shipping rate I can get. So what I do is bill you. You will get when you send me an order, you put it in my messenger. And then I will send you an invoice when yours is ready to ship out. I won't bill you until it's ready to go. So when it's ready to ship, then I'll send you an invoice along with your shipping. I need your zip code and I need your email address when you order. I've got orders for about 20 now. And I'm hoping that I will be able to continue to get music boxes, but there's no guarantee of that. So I'm trying. I do have... I had about 8 or 10 left over from last year, and that's what I sent out today. But I've got 32 coming. So that's, you know, and when those 32, I hope I can get some more, but there's no guarantee. But you will get everything in one kit, okay? Now, I'm ready to start my painting on him. Yours is going to come, like I said, it will come this way, and all the music box, everything will come in the kit. Now, tonight and this week, later this week, I'm going to show you how to paint the other one. Probably Thursday, we will paint the second one, the one with the broom, the broom. We'll probably paint him on Thursday, so you'll see how to paint. Now, this is the one that I done the checks on. And I hope you all can see that good, the way I've got the camera. Hope you're able to see that. So let me know if you're not, but I hope you can. This is the one that's got the stripes in his thing. Let's put this up a little bit. Let me see if I can pull that up down here. I never can get it on my iPad down here, only when I'm over there on my desktop. So, see, it's not even coming through on my iPad. I'm not even getting it. I don't know why that is. I never can get it pulled up. Let's see. Inbox. Nope. So it's not coming in there, so I can't watch it on the other thing. I'll just have to do, but when we're finished, I'll come back and try to answer some questions for you, okay? Now, I'm going to either do the checks or the stripes. So if you send me a few things, if you let me know if you want to do. We'll have to get to the other part first, but you let me know if you want me to do the checks or the stripes. But first, I'll paint the shovel. So I'm going to start with his shovel, and you use whatever brush is comfortable for you. I'm going to start, his shovel's pretty good size, so I'm going to start with this one. Let's see. Yeah, this is about well, every brush just says 16, but that's not a very wide brush. I mean, that's not the thing. I'm going to paint his shovel first, the gray part. So I've got gray on his shovel, and I'm using this is a Ceramcoat's Bridgeport Gray. You can use any color. That's not very dark. Let's try this one. This one is the Deep, T-A-U-P-E. I'm not sure how you say that. Taupe. deep taupe, and it's a ceramic coat too, but any gray will do. The shovel, any of the colors that you want to put on him is your choice. You don't have to paint him. I'm going to paint his vest navy blue, but you don't have to do that. If you want to put different colors on him, that's fine too. You could make his shovel brown or whatever color you wanted to. But I'm going to start with his shovel. Let me see if I can do a little bit bigger brush. Let's try this one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go over here on the side and paint my side in here first. It's all color book painting until we get everything filled in. Then we go back and do all the shading and stuff to make him come alive. And most everything gets 2 coats, so that's what takes a little while to get everything on. And I'm really just painting this on there. But you want all your colors to come from here. You want them to come over. If there's some place, like his scarf up here, it's going to have to be painted on the side. So if it comes across, then you got to paint it all the way across. And I've got a little straight line right here coming across to the bow. Then I'm coming down. I'm using the edge of my brush to get that in there good. Okay. He's got a bow there. And that brush has not got a very good edge on it to get in there. Not a very good brush. Okay. Kids absolutely love these things. And like I said, they make a great gift for a family. I've got one lady that's got 6 ordered. And I'm going to post this here, and then I'll probably move this over and post it on my YouTube channel too for this one. Joe cut me 15 today, I believe. He made me 15 Snowman today. Okay. I'm going to go down to a smaller brush to get in that little section there. This is, you know, this on this brushes is just whatever's comfortable for you. If it's easier for you to get in with a smaller brush, then go to a smaller one. The larger brush you can control, the less work you have to do, but it's whatever's comfortable for you. Okay, now I've got the first coat on his shovel. See, got that on there, first coat. Okay, now I'm going to jump up here and paint his vest. The biggest things I'm going to do first. Okay, that vest, I want it to be like a navy blue. This is Americana's uniform blue. You'll be able to watch this video over and over. If you're buying one and you're going to do one, you'll be able to watch it over and over, which is a good thing. So I'm putting me out some blue, and I'm going to come in here, and you'll be able to see the finished one in my shop. So you'll have a picture. Save it to your files and print you out a picture of the finished one. And you'll have that one too as a guide to go by if you're setting painting yours. See, again, I'm using my little finger to control that brush as I'm going around those pieces to paint it. This paint dries pretty quick, so you can work right along from one color to the other. Turning that board whatever makes you comfortable with what you're painting. These little guys are heavy, but it's because they're cut from 2-inch wood, and that makes them freestanding. We don't have to put a base under them to have them stand up. Okay. Okay. It's hard to talk. Like I said, it's hard to talk and work at the same time. Concentrate on what you're doing. Now the handle of the shovel, see there's a little part, the shovel, and then right over in here is a little section of his vest. You'll see that on the pattern. When you have the pattern, you'll see that. So I'm going to go down to a smaller brush and put that little spot over in there. Just pay attention to what you're doing and cover your spot, cover your places. Okay, got that one. Now I'm going to go over to the other side. I'll put one coat on everything, and then I'll go back and put the second coat on of whatever needs to be. Okay. I wish I could hear you talk. That's the only thing I don't like about this. If I could hear you speaking, then I could answer your questions while we're working. You want to kind of watch your lines now and, you know, go, it's just like coloring in the coloring book. Stay in your lines. Okay. Okay, I've almost got that on there. Okay, now I've got one coat on his vest. Okay, now I'm going to jump down here and paint the bow. Okay, now the handle, he's got a handle on his shovel. The handle part up here is going to be the, let's see what I did, that one. Okay, brown. Okay, with this one, this part, see up here, let me get this one up and show you here. I'm going to set this one right here a minute so I can show you. See, he's got a gray, his shovel comes up here. This little part of the shovel is gray, just like the bottom part down here, the shovel. And then it's got a brown handle on it and a brown round up here across the handle. So I'm going to go ahead and put that little gray part in, down to a brush that fits that. And it's rounded. That shovel, the top of that shovel is round, so I'm doing that in a half, it's kind of a half circle there. Then I'm going to bring it right on around. I've done so many of these things, I wish I knew how many I've painted in all my years. When I did wholesale, we used to sell these by the dozens. Stores, I sold them all over the East Coast, and stores would order, you know, a dozen of each one. Okay. Okay, see now how I brought that around? It's got a round here, this comes down, that little part comes, and that comes down. Now this right here is the wood part of his shovel. So this little part in here is going to be brown. So let's see, I gotta get me some brown. Might as well use first one pulls up here. And this one's called dark brown. Put me a little bit of that. Doesn't take very much, it's a little bitty space there. And I'm going to come straight down and paint that shovel. That's not a very strong brown, so I'll probably put one coat on and then I'll go back with another brown that's not so opaque. because that one's not strong enough. And I'd have to put 4 coats on there to put that one on, so I don't want that. Okay, let me find me another brown over here. Okay, this one's called Decor Burnt Umber. Now the rounded part of the handle up here, this is what's inside the handle, that's also brown. So this is round on the end. I'm going to make it round just like it's supposed to be, right out here on the end of the shovel. Bring that round down, and then I'm going to come right here. His hand is up there. So it's like his hand is wrapped around that shovel handle. Okay. If when you first come on my page, you will see these where the sale part is at, where it tells you about them and, you know, the how to order them and so on, and the price and everything is right there when you open my page. Just be sure you let your friends know about them. The more we get, the better. Okay. Okay, I've got that brown. Now this brown, see this hump right here on here? This little hump is part of his handle. So I'm going to paint it brown too. Coming right out across that and bring that brown right on across the side of him so that it completes the pattern. Okay, now I've got the shovel, the 1 coat on the shovel, 1 coat down here. Now I'm going to do this bow, and of course it's going to be a red bow. Get me a little bit of red. This I usually just paint right out of the lid. Now this bow comes over on the side also. Comes this little hump coming over here. This is part of the bow. So I'm going to paint that first thing. Carry it right out that side. Any of you can do this, girls. Because like I said, this is just a matter of filling in colors. It may be a little harder when you get to the shading and the highlight of separating everything, but you'll get it. Just practice. Now this red, usually 1 coat coverage. See, I've got the side on. Now I'm going to go in here and paint his bow. Put the bow in. When you're painting a bow or whatever, just think about the shape. If you lose your pattern a little bit, you'll still be able to do it because you think, well, that bow's supposed to have a knot in the middle of it, you know, like it's tied together. So that's the way you paint it. Too much paint on my brush. Yeah. Ready? Now I've got 2. The bow's got 2 flaps on it, or whatever you want to call them. I can't remember. Okay, now I've got 1 coat. Everything down here except this is the bow. I mean, this is his scarf is going to be next. And then whatever I do on the scarf, I'll do up here. So I'm going to check my messages a minute. I'm going to raise you up a little bit if I don't lose you. And see if I can check my messages. Thank you, girls, for the stars. I really appreciate that. Let me go down my messages and see. Hey, Deborah, Pam, and Pamela. We got some ladies. Janice, yeah. Okay, here's a newbie. I appreciate you, Pam. Okay, I got some, Melissa, you got some cork lights. That's good. Those go in those little bottles from Hobby Lobby. Those are the best thing ever was. Okay, now let's see here. From Kentucky. Okay, do you want me to paint the checks on the scarf, or you want the stripes? So let me know that while I'm looking in here. Okay. If we paint the checks, then I'll show you how to pencil the checks on there, or we can paint the stripes. This one has the checks. See, this one is black and white checks on it. And then this one over here has red and green stripes on him. Goes all the way around. So I'm going to let you think about it a minute if you post in here, and if you don't, then I'll just choose one. Okay. Thank you for sprinkling, girls. I appreciate that. The more the merrier. Thank you, Janice. I appreciate it. I love doing it for you, girls. It's hard, you know, it's hard for me to find the time and do. Today I had a doctor's appointment. And dang, I'm getting ready for tomorrow in the morning and go to the dentist. So I guess I'm getting ready for knee surgery. And so I've got a lot of things to check out before I go in to do that. Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to just choose one. I'm going to go with the checks. So I'm going to show you how to put those checks, how to pencil them on there. So I'm going to pencil these on just free-handed. And right here across my bow, if you'll look here at the one I've done, I just put a line across here. Now there's a rounded, the bow has a round on it. You know where it's tied over? That's this little part right here that's tied over there. So I'm going to go this way and then go this way with my checks. I have to carry it the way the pattern is. So I'm going to go up right here, and you can, this will be, I don't know if I put that on the pattern. I believe I did put the checks on the pattern. Let me see. Yeah, the checks are on the pattern. If you want to lay it back down, anytime you want to lay the pattern back on there after you get it painted, you can do that, but you would have to have some white Sorrel to really get it to show. So I've got right here where the loop is at in my bow. That's my loop right there. So I've just put one here and one here. Now I'm going to go from that and pull me one line, go in the shape of my bow. I'm going to pull me one line across there. Okay. Now, still holding the shape of my bow, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to reverse right in the middle. Make that one 1, 2, 3 on that side. See, I've put the checks. The center one, you know, one side turns one way and one turns the other. Okay? Now, down my loop here, I keep getting into red there. Look at that, I've got glue on my hands. Okay, down the middle loop, I'm just going to put 1. Come 1 down. Now this will be a whole different thing, and I'm going to go 3 across here. 1, 2, that makes me 1, 2, 3 sections across that, doing the loop over here. Now I've got this part, and this kind of swings out, and you can't just make a straight line down. You got to make that line go the same direction as your bow is, you know, your ribbon is hanging, your scarf. So I'm going to put, let's see, I put 3 down through here. So I'm going to start up here at the top, go around this hump, and just pull me one down, going the same shape at that bow as I just went like this. Okay, now I'll go right here and pull me another one. And these checks are no way going to be all the same size. Because that bow is tied, you know, there's no way that you would have every check the same size. So that's okay. Now I'm going to go right down here and go across go up my bow, up my scarf, and put in, now I've got all my checks in there. Now I have to go over here to the side, and I have to put my checks over here too. See if I can turn that. So I'm going to go down through here. This is the hump in the middle. This is where your bow's going to be. So I'm going to make okay, I'm going to carry this one. This right here, I'm going to carry this over here. 1, 2, 3. I just carried those last 3 strokes that I made there. I just carried them over on the side and made 3. Now I'm going to go down those and make me 3 lines. 1, 2, okay. Now I've got 3. I've got 1, 2, 3 section of checks on the side. Now I'm going to go back in like I've told you and put an X everywhere that I'm going to paint a black one. So I'm going to start right here. 1. Those are going to be all black checks. Now that's that section. Now here will be opposite. I'm going to 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to go over here to this side, and I'm going to start right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, there's all my X's in that section there. Then I got to carry this over to the side. So there's an X there. I'm going to skip 1. Put 1 and let's do 1. Okay. Now I've got all my X's in there. Now I'm going to do the same up here for his scarf that's around his hat. So I'm going to pull that around. And I'm going to put 1 across there, 1 line, straight across that, and down on the sides also. And 1 on this side. Now, I'm going to go up here and make my things. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to reverse it and go 1, 2, 3 over here to get those on. Then I'm going to put about 2 sections over here on the side, 2 on this side. Okay, now I've got to go back and put my X's in that one. 1, 2. Now, before I paint those, I'm going to go back and put the colors back on my others again. Cut red up there out of my way. Go back to my gray that I put on my shovel and put 1 more coat of gray on there. It's rained here all day. I hear it raining again. Cold, rainy and cold. I'm not going to worry about the edges this time because you know you have to paint those edges again, but you won't be doing any shading or stuff around that edges. So I'm just going to get, you know, what I need to get you in here. Show you how to do it. Okay, I've got that on. Now, clean my brush, and I'm going to put the blue on my coat, on my vest. Back to my blue. I'm down here with another coat of blue. Okay. Try to keep your lines real neat. Anytime you make a mistake, if you do make a mistake, drop your brush and grab your wet brush real quick and get that spot off there if you happen to hit it where it don't go. And sometimes you may have to let that dry and sand that off a little bit. Put your white back on there. Okay, now I've got a little spot up here where I got to put that blue over there in that little spot right there. And while I got this little brush, I might as well go ahead and put my gray in there on that handle. You give one of these for a family gift and the family with kids will be tickled to death. I've done these, like I said, for years and years. So when I started the church down here, one of the ladies at church, her husband works for the exterminating company. And a lot of times when people move out, as you know, people move out, they leave, they move out of their house and they just leave boxes and boxes of stuff. Well, he always picks up Christmas. She's a Christmas fanatic, and he always picks up, if the Christmas decorations left, he picks the boxes up and brings them home. So she comes to church one day and showed me a picture, and she said, look what we got in the box of Christmas stuff from it. It's in one of the cabins out in the mountains in Gatlinburg, and it was one of my music boxes that I had done many, many, many years ago. It was a snowman. Santa Claus. Then I have a cousin lives in Virginia Beach, and she used to house clean for this lady, and she sent me a message one night, and she says, look what she's got sitting on her mantle, and she had my music boxes sitting across her mantle. She must have bought them in Gatlinburg at the show. Okay. Boy, my phone's a beeping. The things are beeping tonight. Let's see if I can turn that thing down. Yeah. Okay, I need one more coat on the brown. Then I'll have all those colors coated. Put that red away so I won't get my hands in it, because that's hard to get off. Okay. I want to get a little bit of each section done for you so you can show him, get his face put on, so you'll know how to put him. I did put the face on your pattern, so when you get him totally, all you're going to put on him is eyes and a, that's loud.
Okay.
All you're going to put on him is eyes and a mouth, because the nose is a red nose, and you paint that nose red.
I'm half an art. Breathe.
Sorry, I'm so quiet, girls. Okay. Now, okay, I've got all my colors filled in, except the checks and all. And they'll go real quick, checks will. And I won't have to put but one coat on them because they're going to be black and white. But I do want to start showing you to do some of the shading. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and shade this shovel first. So I need a darker shade of gray. And rather than try to find me a darker shade of gray, I'm just going to put out a little bit of black. Get it out of the bottle. Well, must have a thing in it. Stopped up on me. Okay, I'll put out a little bit of black, and I'm going to use some of my painting medium now. Okay, put you over there. I'll use some of my painting medium. Well, everything's stopped up this evening. I've let it sit there and dry out. Okay, now I'm going to take me a flat brush. Not too big a one, probably about a 10 or so. Yeah, this one's a 10 and the flat ones. Okay, now I'm going to shade this bow. This bow sits on top of that shovel, so I have to shade around that bow to set that back and bring the bow forward. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of my painting medium over here on my palette, on my brush. Pick up a little bit of that. Go pick up a little bit of the same gray and pull it down here. Pick me up just a very teeny tiny touch of the black and mix the two together so that I get a darker shade of gray. Now see, my paint goes from this side to nothing. I'm making a mark here. See, I've got paint on one side and it just fades to nothing on the other side. Use the gray, a touch of black, blend it on my palette. Then I'm going to go in and set the shaded where the darkest parts on my brush. I'm going to set it right down where that bow is at and pull it down. And this is just putting me a dark shading spot around that whole bow. And I'm using the full width of the brush, but there's only paint on one side of that brush. The other side is just painting medium. Now I hope you can see that. Let's see if I can get you over here to where you can see that. Can you see that? I can't tell if you can or not because I can't see you on my other machine, but I believe you can. Okay, I turn you in the light that way. See that just dark around that? Now part of that's the wet that will dry on there. That wetness will dry away in a minute. Now I'm going to come right back across again, and right here at the top of that shovel there's a little rolled part. So I'm going to come straight across and right under where that little roll will be on both sides. I'm going to pull that down a little bit and put me a little mark across there. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing and just pull me some little marks down through the whole shovel. No reason as to where. I'm just going to pull some little shade lines down to kind of separate that shovel. See, now I've done the whole, got the whole shovel done except for highlighting, but I've got the, the inside done. Now I need to shade everything that's white is underneath. The snowman's under here, his coat, his vest, all that has to be gray around that. So this time, I don't need quite as dark a gray as this is, so I'll put me out a little bit of white and using the same gray that I just used, but this time instead of adding the black to it, I'll add me a little touch of white to it. Take my same brush, put it in my medium a little bit, medium across, all the way across it. Pick me up a touch of gray, bring it down here, pick up a touch of white, and mix that till I get a lighter shade of gray. Then I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to set that brush down, and I'm going to pull that right up along the top, outside of that shovel. See? That just pulls that shovel. That just separates the two. Okay? My medium, touch of gray, touch of white. Then I'm going to come right up here around his vest. Come all the way up into that part there, using my little finger to hold my place. And I'm going to go all the way around that. So I'm loading the brush again. You have to load it, you know, you'll run out of paint because I don't have paint but only one side of that brush, so it doesn't go very far. Right here around the, underneath his scarf, and right back down around this other side. This is what makes him no longer a coloring book. This makes him, you know, shading and highlighting is what gives him his life. Okay? A little bit of gray, a little bit of white. If you want to use a lighter shade of gray, that's perfectly okay. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Okay? Now I'm going to go right here around his, right here, and I'm going to go right here on this side. Pull this down a little bit. And his hand is kind of cupped back under him here. I'm going to put a little highlight there because his hand is kind of cupped under. I mean a little shading. So I'm going to go right here and pull a little shading right in there. And that kind of shows the cup in his hand. Now I'm coming up here to the top in his face. I'm going to do the same thing on the top of his, above his scarf right here. Come across, right here in his face, along his neck. Come all the way across there. Go around where that hand's at. Now if you have a hard time hiding those lines, then go back in and erase those lines before you even start. I'm going to put a little dip right here in his hand. His hand is cupped over that handle. Go right down here where my handle's at. I got a shade. Everywhere that there's something on top of it has to be shaded. The shading goes underneath. The highlight goes on top. Shading sets it back. Shading sets it back. Highlight pulls it forward. See? So that shovel, his arm is all behind that shovel. So I have to shade all the way around that shovel to set his arm back there. See? So I've got it all shaded, all up through here, all in this part, all in here. You shade it underneath here, up here around the scarf. Okay, I don't have this side of the scarf done. And going around his neck. And I'm going to go up here underneath his hat. Okay? So I'm going to load my brush again. That paint should be enough, you should have enough medium in that brush till it just flows right off of that. And it's not, when you pull that brush, that paint should just slide right off there. If it doesn't move for you, then you don't have enough medium, painting medium in your brush for it to move for you. Okay? Now see, I've got it shaded underneath his hat and behind his scarf. Okay? Now I'm going to have to shade this blue, and I'm going to use, this time I'm going to use my same blue, and I'm going to put a little bit of black in it. So I've got my medium, pick up a little bit of blue, pull it down here, put a touch of black in that blue, and I got way too much. So let's come and do that again. I just want that blue to be a little bit darker than what I have. Then I'm going to start right here in this one little corner, pull me down a spot there, come right here, because the handle of that shovel is in front of his vest, so I have to pull that down there to set that back in there. Right here along the shovel, got to go back behind there. Got my black just a tad strong there. See? a little blue. So really you don't have to use a whole lot of different colors. You can just, you want to stay in the same family of colors. If you're using blue and you need to shade it, then you want a darker shade of blue. If you're using purple or lavender, then you want to shade with purple. Stay in the same family of your colors. Okay, right around this way. And right on down. Now, okay, that's about all the shading, but I'm going to put a lapel. I'm going to show you how to put that. See this? He's got a dip there on each side of his vest, and I'm going to do that with some highlight from some shading first. But I'm going to take a chalk pencil, and I'm going to take just mark that on my pattern. Okay, and it's just a, let me get a big pencil here, maybe I can show you on the paper here. The only thing I'm doing is doing this, and that one don't write, you would think. So I'm going to go around and around again and pull it down. I don't think you can see that, so I'm going to put it on here. This is a chalk pencil. You can get them anywhere. Fine Touch it's called, and I buy them by the box. They come a dozen in a box, so you can probably get them at Hobby Lobby or, you know, or Amazon or anywhere, but it's just a chalk pencil. It just writes chalk on there. So this is going to make what I'm going to use to make my pattern. So I'm going to come up here, make me one half circle, and then another one, and pull it into the middle. Make one, and pull it in. Now see, I've penciled those on there, one here and one here. I'm going to shade in behind them, shade behind those, and that's my blue again. So I'm going to take my paint, a little bit of blue paint, a little bit of black to go with it, and I'm going to go in behind where I made these lines. There's one, and two. I didn't get quite enough of the black there. Okay. Got that side on. Go over here and do this side. So you don't have to have a world of paints. You just, you know, use your dark, either darken the color or lighten the color to make it in the same family of colors. Okay, now I've got his flaps. I don't know what you call them. I'm not really sure, but that's what it's supposed to be. His jacket's just laid open. Okay, now I got to shade this over here where I got this gray up here. I've got to go back and shade that. It needs to shovel. So I'm back to my gray, little touch of black, and I'm going to go right here and pull this underneath, right here, put some underneath. Then I'm going to pull that right down the middle of there and put a little shading on the outside of that shovel. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side. Come around and then pull it down just a little. Okay, and I got to go down that line for my the handle. That's my brown with a little bit of black added to it. Okay, I go down, cross there, and right down to the bottom. Go across here. Now, just got my fingers in the white. Now I'm going to go right up here, go around this little circle, reverse my brush, and go around on that side. Do the same thing over here, and I'm going to go under his hand, right here underneath the hand, and put a shade line underneath his hand. So this is what I've done just now. Shaded right up under his hand, doing that. Now I've got everything shaded but the red. But I'm going to go back now before I get that red color out, and I'm going to show you how to highlight now. How to do just the opposite. Well, I might as well put that red in too. Let me get my red back out. I'll just get me a darker shade of red over here. Maybe this one will work. Okay, this is called Cranberry Wine. This is just a darker shade of red, like maroon. I think that will shade my bow. Okay, so I'm going to pick me up a little bit of medium. I'm on a clean brush now. Pick up that little bit of dark. And first I'm going to go in here where the bow has got the middle in it. So it comes this way, then I reverse it and come this way. And that's not quite dark enough, so I'm going to add a little touch of black to that color, to that red. And darken it just a little because it didn't go in there quite strong enough. Okay, that's what I want. See, went in there. Then I'm coming down under this loop and under this loop. And I'm going to put 2 loops in the bow. Come here, pull me one around this side and one around this side. See? Now my bow, I got my bow in there. Okay? Now I need to go back and highlight. Okay? So I'm going to go back now, and most all my highlight's going to be white. Not real strong white, but it's going to be white. So I've cleaned my brush back into my paint medium, picking me up a touch of white on the corner, blend it a little bit. I'm going to start right here with his vest. See? Just anywhere that you feel like you need to pull that out a little bit, that's where you want to put highlight. It'll bring it out to the top. See, when I put that white on there, it just separated this and just made it pop out. And see, this one over here is not done yet. It just still got dark. Now watch when I put the light on there. See, when I put the light on, using the full flat of my brush, going just opposite, got red paint on my fingers, just the opposite of that, and pull that white. Now see the difference in his vest? See that? Now I'm going to go down here and put a little bit across his vest. I put a little bit right there. So I'm going to work my way around, and everywhere I think I need a little bit of highlight, I'm going to add that little touch of white in there. From the bow right on down to everything. Okay, over here, I'm going to do this gray right here. Pull those little marks out away from that handle a little bit. Come right down through here and put a couple of marks. Right down this way. See, since I'm using white, I can just work my way right on down. Now I'm on the bow. Going around those loops. Just put those loops in there. Going around those loops, back around the bottom ones. Right here to pull it out away from the gray. See? Now. So I'm right down to my shovel now. I'm going to go right down this shovel like so. And then do a couple of strokes down the shovel, a couple across the top right here, a little bit right here. Everywhere I want to pull that out a little tad, I'm going to put a little bit of white on there, just a touch or two. You can always go back and strengthen it anywhere you feel like you need to strengthen it. See what a difference that makes when you put that little bit of shading and highlight on there? When I paint, paint is just on one side of my brush. Yes, ma'am, it is. And it's just, it's medium, the painting medium, which I've showed you that. If you're new to us, this is painting medium. And I'm using, this is Deco Americana painting medium, which is just the stuff that allows you to move your paint without it being watery. And there's all kinds, I'm not sure this one is still available because I've had these bottles. I buy everything I buy just about by the case. So I've had this a long time, but every brand has one. Americana has one, they all have one. But you look for painting medium, okay? Now, I think I've got most of this is done down through here. So now I'm going to go in and check his vest. His hat is going to be black and just the checks on the top. So I'm going to take my black paint now, and I'm going to go back in where I made my X's, and I'm going to put those little squares all in black. Anywhere I've got an X in my scarf, I'm going to turn it black. Now see, once you get this black on here, there's not much. Pulling you a few little strokes through that is all you need to do to that to highlight it a little bit. And if you wanted to put stripes on it, you would have just went up and down with stripes, and then I paint some of the stripes red and some of them green. So you can do stripes, you can pencil them on there too if you don't want to do checks. You can stripe his vest. His scarf. Okay. if you want to order Snowman Girls and you get an order in, you'll be assured of getting one, even if you don't want it shipped right now. So, you know, as long as you don't, you know, order it and then down the road you say, well, I don't want that. I'd rather you not do that, because that'll be a sale for somebody else. As long as I can get music boxes, we'll keep cutting them. But if I get to the point where I can't buy music boxes, music movements used to be plentiful, but they're not anymore. They're very hard. I used to deal with a place in Ohio, up around Akron, called National Art Craft. And I bought lights and Christmas boxes, music boxes, and all from them, but they're no longer available to them. Of course, they probably come from China, so like everything else. See, this is real quick. See? Real fast to paint this little thing on his neck. Okay, here. When you get everything done and you get ready to put his face on, you can take the pattern and lay it on his face if you want to put his eyes on, or you can practice, and I just put them on with a pencil, or I just go ahead and paint them on with my brush, but you can pencil them on there, and then you'll have his eyes. It'll be easy to do. And the way you shape his mouth is whether he smiles or not. Your mouth is determined whether he's smiling or not, is the way you put the line across there for his mouth. If you turn it up and make it so he's smiling, then he'll be a happy snowman. If you turn it down, he'll be frowning. So, of course, you want him to be happy. Now, I'm not going to worry about putting the checks on the side of his vest, on the side of his scarf there, because you know that those checks are there. And the checks up in the top of his hat are done exactly the same way these are. You just paint every other one black, because I want to go back here and show you a few little shading things in here and be sure we get his eyes in. Okay, I got one little one right there I got to get in there to get. Okay, see, now I've got all them in. But there's a knot in his bow here, so I'm going to have to shade on each side of that knot to make it be a separate piece, okay? So I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm going to go back to my gray, and I'm going to pick me up another little bit of medium, because I'm going to shade. Hope that's dry enough in there to do it. Pick up a little bit of the gray, blend it down here, and a little touch of black. Maybe I got too much. Okay, I don't think it is. Now, I'm going to go right here behind this bow, behind the loop in his thing, and put me a little shade line there to separate the two of those. And really, this will only show in the white, but it'll be enough for you to see. You can go back and highlight that. See, it'll be enough for you to see that this right here is a separate piece. If you were up close and seeing that, you would see that that's a separate piece. Maddie, come here and get this cat. My cat's trying to climb in a box down here. Yeah. We got a cat that crawls in anywhere he can find a hole to get down in. He's in it. Okay. Now I'll go back later and outline. Okay, the use shade over dry paint or while it's still wet. No, let your paint dry. But you're using such a little amount of paint. If you put it on there right, there's such a little amount of paint that it will dry. If you start your checks over here, by the time you get these done, these over here are going to be dry. And if you'll see how much I've jumped around with colors and then go back to shade and highlight, those colors are dry. It dries very, very quickly because I don't have a lot of paint. The paint's real nice and smooth, so you see no texture on it. And that, you know, it's now I feel like I'm not seeing enough pull out, enough highlight right there. See, by holding it up like this. So I'm going to go back and hit that again. I'm going to wet my brush and pick me up a little bit of white. And I'm going to go right back in here and hit that again to make that just a little bit stronger there. See now what a difference that made on the bottom down there? I just highlighted that a little bit. Okay, now I'm ready to put his face on. I will go back with my liner brush and I'll do a lot of outline work, which that is something you'll have to practice because using your liner brush, I'll do a couple little spots here and show you. This is a real long, this is a striper, real long brush. As you can see, this is real long. Now when I use this, I do put it in the water. I'm going to put it up here in my water, wet my brush. Don't wet it up past the silver part. Wet it up to the ferrule, just the brush. So put you some water in that. Come over here in my black paint, and I want that paint to be about like ink. So I'm going to pull it out to the edge, loading that brush flat, loading it, you know, quite a bit of paint up in that brush. Then I'm going to roll it to a point. Then I'll come back in here and I can stand that brush straight up and down because I'm only going to use, see how sharp, if you can see it, see how sharp tipped that brush is? You can see how it is. And I only want to use the tip end of it. So I come in here, I hold my finger up and barely touch that down and pull it and outline that. The more you outline, see I went in that just now and did this little part right here. So the more you outline, it cleans up all your lines when you outline. And that's going between my shading. You know, I'm not covering up my shading. I'm staying on the blue part of that. So I'm definitely not cover up your shading with that. But I'm only using, and see, I can get quite a bit out of that brush because there's paint way up in that brush. But the paint is so thin that it just flows right off of that brush. Load it flat, then roll it to a point, come back in, and put your stripes in. See? And I will outline just about everything. I'll go around this little thing, and because it'll clean up all your edges if you outline everything. Now I'm going to show you how to put his eyes in, because this hat up here is just black. See, I'm going to show you on this one that I've done. See, the only thing I've done up here is put these black and white checks across there, painted this hat black. Then I put a little highlight right here on the bill, on the front of his hat right there, put a little highlight and a little highlight up there. And that's all I've done to that hat. Now I'm going to show you how to put his eyes in. Okay? Now, you want to get his eyes on there far enough till his nose don't, till his nose don't hide his eyes. See, this is the way his nose is going to go on. So I want those eyes to be far enough. And on your pattern they are. So if you want to lay your pattern on there and then do, but I'm just going to pencil them on there and show you how to do them. And they're just ovals. I'm going to come over here and make an oval. Come to the left, to the right, and do the same thing over here. Left and right. And I don't really have to even put a bottom on it. See, I've made a pencil mark, one over here and one over here. Now that, I'm not going to cover the whole section with black paint. I'm just going to paint part of it. And when you put the pupil in the eye, both of them, I guess you'll call it the pupil, because the dark part, you put it in the eye, you put in here, leave a space, when you put the inside ovals in. When you put these in, leave a little space on each side. Okay? So I'm going to load my brush with black, don't want no paint, no water in that brush when I'm putting that black in there. So I'm using a brush with some fresh black paint I got up in that thing. I'm going to come in here with a small brush and make me an oval right in the middle of that one. Now this way. Okay, see? Now I've got to go back in with my liner brush and put the lines in. You can do the same liner brush I use with the other one, or you can go down to a short liner. If you're more comfortable using a little short liner like this, you can go down to it. So you would load it with some water, put it in your black paint, roll it to a point. This one might be too thick for me, but I'll try it. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to put a stroke underneath each eye, holding my finger up there, and put a stroke under this eye and a stroke under this eye. Turn my board, pull this side up and pull this side up. This one, oh, I went off a little bit. And this one. And I'm going to put some eyelashes on him. Now when you're putting on eyelashes, one side's going to be easy for you and one side's going to be hard for you. So always do your hard side first. And this side of mine, I can do the left side easier. I'm right-handed, so I can do the left side easier. So start with whichever one. Touch the eyeball and then just kind of pull up on them. The same thing over here. And you can put an eyebrow on him. Just put you a little bit of a mark right there on the eyebrow. See? Now I'm going to put his mouth in. Now his mouth is just a, I guess you call it a half circle. I'm just going to go up, you know, from one side to the other with his mouth. So you can make his mouth, I don't have nothing here to practice on. Okay, I'm going to show you on this and do it this way. I'm going to do it and then I'll show you. I can do his mouth like this, come up, make his mouth, or I can do it just straight up like this. See, you can make his mouth come up and make a loop like this, and it put a little line underneath it, and you got a mouth. You can do that one, give him a little sass, or you can just do plain and do it that way. So I think I'll just give him a little sass this time. Okay, I'm going to go, it's just a little hump and then up. So I'm going to go a little hump and then up. Then I'm going to put a curve on each side, and I'm going to put a little lip underneath him. See there? So I've got his face on. Now I've got to highlight in those black parts of his eyes. I've got to put a little highlight in there and a mark for his pupil. So I'm going to take my white, put me a little bit of painting medium on it, just load one little corner. Now you got to put these on the same side or you'll make him cross-eyed. So over here I'm going to pull them, I'm going to put them both on the left. Do this one, and go over here and put this one on the left. So I put two little highlight strokes. Those are hard for you to see. And I'm going to take my stylus and put me two little dots in there, and the same with the little dots. You want to put them on the same side. Don't put one dot here and one in the middle over here, because he'll be cross-eyed. So put them both. I'm putting them on the left and the left. So yeah, I've got a highlight dot in this eye and a highlight one in this eye. And now I'm going to go back and put a little bit of rouge under his eyes, a little bit of color in his cheeks. And I'm going to use a pink for that. This one's called French mauve, so any pink will do. Any, you know, like mauve colored, not hot pink, but just a mauve-y shade. And you only need a pinhead, so it's just one little stroke. So I'll take my brush, put some painting medium on it, put a little paint on there, blend it, and then I'm going to go in and go right under the eyes the same way the stroke is the eyes. So I'm going to go over here, pull it around, reverse it, and pull one around over here. Now see, I've put some rouge on his cheeks. And he's just about done. I will put some polka dots in his bow. See, when I get the bow, let's go back up to this one that's finished. See how I've got his eyes here, and I've got his mouth. Now his mouth is done just a straight mouth. See this one? I've done the two mouths just a little bit different. So you can do, you know, you can put the mouth in there any way you like. But I will go back and put some polka dots. That'll use my stylus. I'll put some polka dots on that. And I will outline these things. And I'll pull a little bit of that yellow, a little bit of that color, make a few little drag marks. Let's see what I got over here. I'm going to use a just an ochre, kind of an ochre color, yellow ochre. Pick up a little bit of paint here. Did you get a shower? Okay, then I'm going to load my brush with a little bit of medium. I got to think about what I'm doing. Okay, loading my brush with a little bit of medium, and just pick a little bit of that up on the corner, ochre, and just pull me a few little drags down in those checks. Anywhere you want them. No particular place. That's strictly up to you. If you want them in the white or the black or how many you want. Just put you a few little, and you could pick out any color that you want to go in there with them. See that? Now put those in. Now I'm going to put some buttons. I've got 3 little buttons here, and that is just black. And I'm going to load my brush this time. I'm using the full flat of my brush, loaded all my brush with black. And this is just put them on there and swirl them around. Make them different. It's like having a lump of coal. They don't have to be any particular size. I usually put 3 down through there. Make your edges a little rough. It's like you've picked up a lump of coal and stuck it up on there to make him a button. See? Now you've got 3 little buttons on him. And he's about done, girls. He's just about finished. Just a matter of getting the thing. And then when he dries good, tomorrow or the next day, I will varnish him. And I will use, Josanya, this time I will use the satin, because I don't particularly care if he shines or not. This one, the satin will give you enough of a shine, you know, to look good. This one has got the satin finish on, and it will finish it up to where they can dust it. Always finish the back of your piece. You know, I painted that white on the back, and I did put a coat of varnish on that, and I signed it down on the bottom. So be sure you sign your pieces. Always sign them, especially if you're giving them for a gift, because 10 years down the road, somebody you gave it to will pull that out at Christmas time, and they'll look and they'll say, well, Sally gave me that in 2022 for a Christmas present. Sign it and put the year on it. Okay? And you got it. Now let's go back and see if I can answer any questions for you. Oh gosh, I'm out of breath.